At 30 years old, I left the business that I'd built and sold my shares in the company. I knew I wanted to build something new and exciting. The problem was everything got very intimidating very quickly. After all, I had no partners, I had no team, I had no infrastructure, but my brain was playing tricks on me. It was saying, hey, you're over 30 now, you're over the hill. Probably haven't got the same energy that you used to. You're not as cool as you used to. This is not really the time to start something new. Total bullshit. I think many artists who are releasing music now who are over the age of 30 have this same feeling where you're thinking, oh, I've got to navigate social media and TikTok feels like it's for kids. It's not really for me. Then AI is on the run. I don't really want to navigate AI. I don't really understand that. You've got the energy. I don't have the same energy as I used to. I've got lots more responsibilities than I used to have. Is this realistic? Is this for me? Now, this is your brain playing tricks on you. You are overthinking the negatives instead of focusing on the positives. After all, you have much more life experience and life skills than when you were 20. You have a much bigger work ethic than when you were 20. You have an openness to learning now that you probably didn't when you were a stubborn teenager. And you have more people skills than you had back in the day. So you might be over 30. You might even be over 40. You might even be over 50. But this is a mindset, because despite what your brain is telling you, you can change your life at any point. And the best thing about where the music industry and how you can promote yourself is right now is all of the tools are there. You just need to understand what to do and how to use them. So firstly, let's dismiss a couple of fallacies, with the first one being that people over the age of 30 don't discover new music. What a load of absolute shit. Maybe in the 80s or 90s where you had to get off your arse and actually go to the store in order to buy music. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you ended up with the same old CDs. This is 2023. You can discover music on socials, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Spotify. You discover music on radio, on TV. There's new music coming at you from everywhere. Number 2, music is a young person's game because you need to be cool. No, you don't. You need to be relatable. Don't forget, people buy from people, which means 50-year-olds don't really listen to 15-year-olds' music, and 15-year-olds don't really listen to 15-year-old music because you have different life experiences. But because people buy from people, it means you have to be relatable to a certain demographic. And number 3, people over the age of 30 don't go to gigs anymore. What a crock of shit. Not only do people over the age of 30 go to gigs, but these are the people with disposable income, which is why Bruce Springsteen and AC/DC and the Rolling Stones have huge ticket prices of hundreds of dollars. But with that said, you do need a strategy to break through the noise. So here's 5 tips to help you build an audience and get your music heard if you are over the age of 30. Number 1, you need to play to your strengths. Now, you are not the same person as when you were a teenager. But that's not a bad thing. That's potentially a really good thing. Because if you think about maybe you have some disposable income, maybe you have some friends in higher places, maybe you just have better project management skills or more authority, you need to be able to use these as a strength. When you email or pick up the phone as a 15-year-old, nobody takes you seriously. But when you pick up the phone or email as a 30, 35, 40-year-old, people have a little bit more respect for your life experience. You need to tap into this. Stop thinking that you have less skills than an up-and-coming young musician. You might have different skills, you might have different experiences, but you need to flip this into thinking that this is a positive rather than a negative. Number 2, you need to understand the game. Yes, the music industry has changed, but it has changed for the better as long as you understand what to do. Most of the time, whenever I get trolls or hate on YouTube, the main reason is because they don't understand and therefore they don't respect what people want and what people are doing right now. But if you understand the game, this becomes a lot easier. Do you know why? Because there are huge markets of people who listen to music over the age of 30, and there aren't as many people trying to fulfill that gap. It's a supply and demand issue. There are millions and millions and millions of artists who are 19, 20, 21 who are trying to make their way. But there's a lot less artists that are 35, 36, 37, but there's still a huge demographic of listeners. So yeah, you do have to understand the music industry and social media and playlists and content creation. But if you can start to master these things, it puts you in a very small bracket, which gives you a high chance of being able to find, discover, and build the audience who can then monetize your music and help you grow. Number 3, you need to understand your demographic, the people who are going to listen to your music. Okay, they might be over 30, but that's way too vague. Are they men who like drinking and fishing, over the age of 30, who are under the age of 40, who live in middle America? That's a lot more niche than if you said, oh, this is the housewife market of the UK who love Michael Bublé. It's a very different market. Age is just a number. You have to start attaching everything else that's attached to that demographic so that you can not only find them but make the right content in order to connect with them, build familiarity, and bring them into your audience so that they carry on following you and help you build. Now, a good tip for this is to draw and name your avatar. So instead of thinking, yeah, my audience is like 35 to 45-year-old female housewife, say, no, my audience is Jenny. Jenny is 36 years old. She's got 2 kids. She works part-time. She's married. She lives in this area. She goes to yoga. All of a sudden, you can picture Jenny. Now, when you're picturing Jenny, it means you're making content thinking, Jenny's going to really like this. Now, that is going to help you make content for Jenny rather than making content for yourself. Number 4, don't focus on the vehicle. And by that, what I mean is TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, these are just vehicles. Everyone talks about social media. It's like that doesn't really matter. What matters is your music and the way that you communicate with an audience on that platform. If TikTok goes away, something else will come. It makes no difference. What we've got to do is we've got to figure out how to get your message across without overthinking. Now, by that, I mean all you've got to do is perform a song. Whether it's a mini music video for 15 seconds like the versions you used to get on MTV that you can do yourself, or maybe it's that you sit down with a guitar and a piano and you just sing some songs. Whether they're your songs, whether they're cover songs, you are entertaining, you are bringing value. Now, if you can do that consistently with some stories over time, the algorithm will start pushing you out. You will start getting noticed. You will start getting attention. And if you want to, you can whack in $5-10 to make sure you do get the attention. The key is how you look after those people and what do they get? If they say, hey, I really like that. That was really good. I'll get another one tomorrow. I'll get another one the day after. I'll get another one the day after that. Yeah, I'll hit the follow button because I understand who you are, what you do, and more importantly, from a selfish point of view, what I'm going to get. So don't focus on the vehicle and say, oh, TikTok's for kids. No, this is just somewhere that you can make content that brings value to an audience. You can show off your music, you can show off your talent, you can show off your personalities with some stories which will speak to people in your demographic and over a period of time that will help you to build your audience and get your music heard. And number 5, this is a big one. Stop with the deadlines. Okay, you're over 30. That means you don't have to get this all sewn up in the next 12 to 18 months. You got 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. This is 100% a marathon and not a race. I understand if you're 15, 16, 17 years old, it's go, 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 we got to make this work. But if you're 30, it's like, what's the difference between 30 or 33, 33 or 35, 35 or 45? This is about you slowly building a body of work and using that body of work as an asset to get it seen, to be able to get people to see who you are, build that familiarity and come into your house. And then you keep building value. At this point of your life, age is not so much of a big deal because you have plenty of time on your hands. Most importantly, you are not an imposter. You might need to find your sound, find your routine. You might need to find your rhythm, find your audience. But there are audiences out there for 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years old. This doesn't matter anymore. It's not the same as where it was 20 or 30 years ago when you were relying on the gatekeepers of a major record deal to be able to get your music out there. Now you can distribute your music, and yes, you need to understand the game. But if you do understand the game, you can build a real, genuine, caring audience. And lastly, the biggest and probably most important tip, which is ignore anyone who tells you you can't do this, because you probably are going to have trolls if you're starting to put your music out there on TikTok. So fuck them. Just because they don't have the balls to put music out themselves, just because they look to you and they are jealous because they are too scared to do this themselves, just ignore them. Don't bite back and just think, I have a passion, I love this, and why can't I build an audience at 30 or 40 or 50 years old? And maybe I will get a couple of punches on the way, but what I will do, for every punch, I'll get 100 or 1,000 people coming to you and saying, God, I really admire this, and you know what, I really like what you do, and that is the way to build an audience. So enjoy creating, enjoy putting out music, and try and enjoy the process of promoting your music and understanding the new music industry. After all, you are just one song, one piece of content away from bringing in a whole new audience that really appreciate you and what you do. Age is just a number, and this music industry is allowing you in. So do me a favor, if you can hit that like, hit that subscribe, and come and be a part of this community because we do it all the time. Otherwise, keep enjoying, don't listen to anyone else, and I'll catch you guys soon.